It's time to scaffold a project with a package called Create-Vue. It's the official tool for building, compiling, and managing Vue applications. It's completely optional, but I absolutely recommend it if you plan on building complex Vue apps. Before running this package, let's talk about it briefly. The Create-Vue package is a tool manager. Its purpose is to help you organize your files, pre-configure tools, and let you start building your application right away. The code base of an application can be broken into two parts. There's the application code and code from external libraries. Code from external libraries can be considered code from libraries like Vue or Axios. It's code we didn't write, but are using in our application. Application code is the code we've written to get a functioning application. Splitting your code base into different files is ideal for development. It makes things easier to manage and track. It allows for flexibility when you need to update files. The problem with this approach is the amount of files that can be present in an application. They can be scattered across several directories. This introduces the necessity for tools like Vite, PostCSS, and Sass. Tools can help us manage an application. Best of all, we can bundle files into as few files as possible. A new problem is introduced. These tools are independent from each other with separate configuration settings. On top of developing our application, we would have to take the time to manage a tool set. They need to be configured to work alongside each other. The more tools we introduce, the more complex configuration can get. It's a lot of work just to get an app up and running. This is where the Create-Vue package comes into play. This package will help you with setting up a Vue project with Vite and other tools. Sounds redundant, but it makes the process massively simpler. It'll even provide you with a basic setup if you wish. Alternatively, you can create a custom setup for future projects. By using this package, our project will be ready for development and production. If you watched the previous section, you learned how exhausting it can be to configure tools. There's a lot that needs to be done before diving into app development. It's not a pleasant experience to go through every time you want to start a new project. Vue will expedite this process by asking you a few questions about your project. Based on your answers, it'll configure the tools necessary for running a Vue project. This tool will allow you to jump straight into your project. You also have the option of adding additional features you may need as your development workflow progresses. What took an hour to set up in the previous section will only take a minute with the Create-Vue package. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to the official Create-Vue repository. Here you'll find more information about this tool and what you can do with it. At the bottom, we're given some commands to get us started with this tool. Let's try running the CLI together. Switch over to your command line. Inside the command line, input the following command: npm init vue at latest. After the @ character, we can input the version of Vue. For example, we may want to create a project with version 2. We can input this version like so. If you're not interested in specifying the version, you can type latest for the most recent version of Vue. Before you run any commands, I recommend you place yourself in a directory exclusively for development projects. Vue will need some room to build the project when we run the command. Let's run this command. It can be dangerous to run packages. As an extra precaution, npm will ask us to verify our actions. In this case, I think it's safe to run this package. Afterward, we need to provide a project name. The name of our project will be called Components. The topic we'll be discussing in this section will be about components. The name will reflect that. Feel free to use a different name if you'd like. Up next, we're going to be asked a series of questions for specific packages. In the future, we are going to integrate several packages. For now, let's select No for everything. After selecting this option, Vue will begin creating, preparing, and configuring your project. This may take a while for some of you, just be patient. After some time has passed, Vue will tell us the project has been successfully created. From here, it'll tell us to execute a couple of commands to start the server. Let's move into the directory first. Before we start the server, let's briefly look at the files and directories. Some of these files should be familiar to you. If you know what these files do, then that's great. If not, that's fine as well. We'll review them shortly. We were able to get a starter project with a single command. It created a list of modules, configured them, and generated files for getting started. It saved us time from having to do this ourselves. From the beginning, you can see the benefits of using this package. We're free to edit any of these files. We can make changes to the current configuration at any point. We're not forced to use the default configuration settings. We'll dig deeper later, but let's try running on the server. Under the hood, the project has been configured with Vite. We have access to the same features as the previous project. This includes the server. We didn't use the server for most of this course. This is because we were dealing with 1 or 2 files. We weren't making external requests. We're going to be discussing more advanced topics. A server will be necessary because browsers impose limitations on files opened directly in the browser. To remove any limitations, we'll need to deliver the files via a server. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about the code that makes the server function. It works completely out of the box. This allows us to focus solely on the project itself. Switch over to the command line. First, we must install the packages from the package file. Packages are not installed for us. They must be manually installed. In the command line, run the npm install command. Next, type the following command: npm run dev. This is a command you can find inside the package file. This command will start a server. The server will bundle our project and serve the bundle for us. We can preview our project with this command. After a few moments, Vue will tell us that the project was successfully compiled. This is something important I want to highlight. If you can recall, there are 2 versions of Vue, one with the compiler and another without it. The one we're using in our project is the one without the compiler. Vite has been configured to compile the template during the build process. The template will be transformed into a render function. The final bundle outputted by Vite will not need to be compiled on the client. We can continue writing HTML and not worry about having to code objects for the virtual DOM. Below this log will be presented links to view our application. We can click on them to open a new tab in the browser. You will see something similar to what I see. There are links we can click on to learn more about the tools that were installed. One of the main selling points of Vue is its simplicity. However, for quite some time, in order to create complex projects, you had to learn and configure various tools. Vue was designed to allow us to focus on our project. There may be times when you'll want to configure Vite differently, but we'll take a look at that later. For now, the default configuration works fine. Therefore, we'll be jumping into the project very soon. In the next lecture, we'll go a little deeper into the files scaffolded by the Create-Vue package.